जलियांवाला बाग हत्याकांड कैसा हुआ था, हमें घेर कर हम पर लाठियां बरसाई गई। पुलिस कर्मियों ने हमारे पर गोलियां भी चलाई।
Why are farmers risking everything to stop a government-backed green energy plant? To understand this, we need to see the Indian government made a plan of 20% ethanol mix in petrol by 2026. A massive push for green fuel.
Green hydrogen is the fuel for the future.
And this is where Dune Ethanol Private Limited comes into the picture. Around 2 years back, a project was involved where approx 45-acre land was acquired by the company, and it was going to establish a 450 crore energy plant with 1320 KLPD capacity and 40 megawatt green energy. This was going to be one of the biggest plant in Asia, situated in Hanumangarh, Rathikera village. Now, what exactly happened that the farmers started protesting it for over 2 years, and why did the protesters had to come into picture? So Hanumangarh has the major occupation of agriculture, and water scarcity has been increasing very fast because of the Indira Gandhi Canal project. However, you would consider that a new plant installation, so government would have definitely played a good role of making sure that there would be no water shortage, not just for the agriculture land but also for the factory, right? But there is where the situation went to the worst case. The company which is opening up the plant is already doing something fishy. That is the reason the Punjab government had to shut down one of their plant. This is the biggest reason that farmers of Hanumangarh had to start protesting, because they wanted to save their land and not just become a part of a government mimic energy based plant. So the hearsay of the particular project is that they have asked only for 600 gallons of fresh water, and the rest of the water will be kind of linked with the Indira Gandhi Canal. The similar such plants which are there in India require somewhere around more than 100,000 gallons every single day. Now, if such water capacity is being used, then how the water scarcity will not arise? The farmers understood something which was very disturbing. That is, the Oasis Group is connected to the Dune Ethanol Private Limited. Now, what's happening is the Oasis Group has already shut down one of their plant in Punjab by the Punjab government because they were doing some illegal moves. And the real move was they were pumping up their non-treated water, that is called as reverse borewell. So now this reverse borewell just does not contaminate the water, it also makes the land unusable for agriculture. Now this is where it gets more heated up. Same company, the directors directly or indirectly connected to that particular group are opening up a new plant where the plant was just shut down in 2025. In 2025, they had to move down to Rajasthan because the Punjab government was not maybe supporting in full factor, so the Rajasthan was a new territory for them. It would be a day one for them to start involving and processing up this particular water scarcity into their own profits. The company claims that this is the fresh company and it has no nearabouts. However, the company suggested the same address of one of the subsidiaries of Oasis Group. Now, this shouldn't be a coincidence, right? And the chairmen and the promoters of the company are also the past members of management leaders of Oasis Group. So now the farmers thinks that what they have done in the Punjab is similarly going to repeat in Rajasthan, and that is the reason the big protest is going on. When ED raided Oasis Group's Punjab plant, they were able to identify lead, poisonous and groundwater level was fully contaminated, and reverse boring was the real action. Over 80 crores of assets were sealed by the Punjab government and called it as a rogue industry. Now, the problem is not just about that the water contamination. The problem is also about that the companies who have been shut down at one, they are able to find a way to move to another territory and do something similar. And this is not just done once. The peers of ethanol industry have already been fined by Indian government because they have been doing such similar practices. And what happens is the farmers around it has to pay the price. What actually is happening is the government are identifying everything right on paper, but when the execution starts place, the companies are finding loopholes and sometimes even neglecting the regulations and making untreated water go around them and make the others pay for it. Triveni Engineering and Bajaj Hindustan are two of one of the biggest peers in this industry, and they have been even caught doing the same. They have been fined by Indian government, and still there is no more regulation to stop such cases. There are not a direct solution which can be identifiable, because these private companies are doing a simple rule that's called as pay to pollute. What they do is, instead of considering the penalties as actual penalties, they consider it as a pollution fee. Now, what happens is, over and over time period, every 5 years, 10 years, they will pay such fines and make sure that their profit margins are still growing and still continuing. If I was supposed to understand that how we can bring the solution, most of the cases, these are just civil violations. And I feel that if we add criminal violations to it, the people will start taking more responsibility. The CEO will be considered responsible for making sure that such harmful things will not carry out in their plant. This battle is not just about Rathikera. It's about India, because India is experiencing the biggest industry shift. And if we do not take care of our basic requirements like water, land, then we may not have a great future. Will justice prevail, or companies like Dune Ethanol will continue to do a simple rule, that is pay to pollute?